What's up, guys? Imran here from the Stuff They Should Have Taught Us podcast. And on this episode, I'm going to be teaching you guys about compound interest, index funds, and how you can even become a millionaire for as little as $40 and some patience. So, there are two major types of interest that you should know about. The first is called simple interest. So, for example, if you invested $10,000 and the interest rate was 8%, you'd be looking at $800 of profit. That's how simple interest works. Now, a cool phenomenon that we see in the stock market and in general is something that's called compound interest. So if you take that same $10,000 and you take the $800 you get after the first year and apply it to the new balance as principal, that new balance becomes $10,800. And then if you wait another year, your 8% interest is now calculated on that new value of $10,800, which gives you a dividend of $864, which is 64 more dollars than you had last year. Now you can keep adding all the dividends or all the interest you get back onto the principal, and you'll keep getting an 8% return. And after something like 30 years, your $10,000 would now be worth over $34,000. Now that's pretty cool. You 3x your money. But if you wait another 20 years, that $10,000 could be worth $100,000. That's the cool thing about compound interest, is that the growth is pretty much exponential. You're not going to just gain 8% on your original money. You're going to gain 8% on the money you make, and then you're going to take that money, add it back to the original principal, and you'll just keep making money, and it snowballs like that. And that's with a pretty conservative interest rate of 8%. But with some of the index funds I'm going to be talking to you guys about, you might even be able to get a higher interest rate, and you might even be able to double your money sooner than that. So, a good way to reap the benefits of compound interest is to invest in something called an index fund or a growth index fund. These are provided by companies like Vanguard, and they let you reap the benefits of the entire economy's growth. These are a little bit different from mutual funds because mutual funds have a little bit higher of a fee, even though they may promise a higher interest rate. But for beginner investors, we usually say to stay away from those. So, Vanguard Growth Index funds have an interest rate that goes anywhere from something as low as 5% to things much higher. I've seen even 16%. One of the ones I'm looking at right now is a Vanguard Growth Index Fund, VIGRX. And this one, over the last 10 years, has had a 15.4% growth, and since its inception in 1992, has had 9.5% growth every year on average. So, looking at an index fund like this, when you put your money in, if you take the dividends, take those, and keep buying more of the index funds, over time, you'll be able to reap the benefits of compound interest. So, that's pretty cool, right? But in the next segment, I'm going to show you guys how you can use that as to become a millionaire, pretty much. So, where you can really reap the benefits of compound interest is mostly when you're young. As time goes on, time is your biggest asset in compounding interest. And I'm going to show you guys with a little bit of math how you guys can become millionaires for just $40. So I'm sure everyone listening to this, if you have a full-time job, hopefully will be able to save $40 every week. Maybe that's eating out less. Maybe that's spending less money on gas or something like that. But either way, if you take $40 every week, times that by 4, that's $160 every month, and you're looking at a contribution of $1,920. Now, if every year you add $1,920 into something like a growth index fund with an interest rate of, let's just do 9.5%, you're going to be looking at $812,000 at the end of 40 years. Now, if we play with that number a little bit and we make it 42 years, you're going to end up with $978,000 or about $1 million. Now, what's cool is if you plan aggressively and are able to get something like an 11% interest rate, which isn't out of the ordinary, in that same 40-year time, you would end up with $1.2 million. That's right, $1.2 million for putting away $40 every week for the next 40 years. So, for example, if you start this when you're 22, by the time you're 62, so long as the return stays at around 10%, you're going to be looking at $1 million. And that's not even if you increase your contribution over that time. Maybe your career progresses and you're able to invest more, and you'll be able to hit that $1 million mark much sooner. So, this is how a lot of young people are able to set themselves up for financial success through the use of compound interest. So I definitely implore you guys to go check this out. Play around with some of the compound interest calculators and see how much money you really need to put aside to become a millionaire. 40% of millionaires are first generation, and it's very achievable using the power of compound interest. Anyway, guys, I hope you enjoyed this episode and learned something today. Please share it with your friends if you did, and make sure to go home and play around with those compound interest calculators and see how much money you really need to retire. In another episode, I'm going to cover the safe withdrawal rate, which is a metric we use to decide how much money you actually need to retire. But until then, go play around with your compound interest calculators and make sure to take action and start investing in some of these index funds.